Hello and welcome to episode 57 of Let's Talk Tactics. I'm your host, Tyrell,
I am Danwood.
and no lock. So we're gonna hop into a bunch. I keep saying hop in every podcast. It's really pissing me off. I'm gonna try to come up with new words for you guys. But anyway, we're gonna talk about the EXs that dropped last week, and then my hyped up, been waiting for a long time. Finally, Ice Select unit that came out
Hey,
in Global, and then we also have a couple news based topics for the end. We're gonna kind of flip. Sometimes we'll do. I think for like new units, we'll do those after topics, but for things we can just run through pretty quickly, like EXs and Awakening updates and stuff like that, we can get them out of the way in the beginning, give our thoughts, and then move into other stuff. So I
I
know
like
last
it.
time I said I was gonna do the news up front, but uh, not every time. So kicking off these updates, another one of mine that I've been waiting for, Valade. So Valadega Zx. I don't know if we've mentioned this before on the podcast, like we kind of looked ahead and said some things, or if that was like in post podcast chats, but
It's hard to keep track.
he's got some pretty nice upgrades. Now, granted, okay, so his Emerald Echo gets upgraded to give him 12% agility and decreased casting time by 200. Now, 12% of a low number is still a pretty low number, but every bit does help. And a lot of times with these EX upgrades, units don't get agility, so being able to give an SR any amount of extra agility is appreciated. But overall, I mean, you're probably putting Emerald Echo on him. No, you're definitely putting Emerald Echo on him pretty much in every build I can imagine, unless you're doing some weird PvE stuff where you need like Nullified Doom and some Magic Resist. But I mean, the buff duration for what we're about to talk about is super important, I think. So moving into his other upgrade, uh Barb Lazara gets upgraded. So normally it gives Ice Resist 25 for 3 turns for allies. These abilities are kind of memes. I've always hated how the element the unit is the one they give resist to. It's always seemed illogical to me.
Right.
However, now it gives wind resist, which makes sense because ice units are, they have advantage on wind. But also gives 25% agility as a buff, 40% attack, and 40% magic.
The same radius, that burst radius. It's just crazy.
Giant radius. Yep. I think the cast time's basically the same, but with his passive, it does get a tick faster. So
Right.
fantastic. Then his job 25 skill, Ice Vitalization, and boy does it vitalize my ice teams. I got to use this in the select quest. Whew. Ice attack 40 for 3 turns and accuracy 60 for 3 turns. Now that's like a not sharp increase, that's Pokemon, but what's the where it says like intensely or like it's like the significantly raises or whatever. It's this
Yeah.
in a
Yeah.
giant burst AoE for more than 1 turn, and he has Emerald Echo, so it's 4 turns. The range height is 2, so it's very versatile where it can hit. It's got the AoE height of 1, 4 uses. He is an insane support unit. If it wasn't for the fact he's so goddamn slow and has such a low HP,
That's all I was gonna say.
I would see putting him in other content, but you have to be able to really make use of his buffs before engagement. He's gonna get picked off so fast in PvP. But you bet your ass, I'm gonna be using him in some live PvP here and there, though, messing around with it. So
Yeah.
I,
I
these
calculated
upgrades are crazy.
his base agility is 47, and with the Emerald Echo like buff to agility, it goes up to 52.6. So I mean, you might be able to get it boosted up to 53, depending on like what else you're using.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, the buffs are so good when you eventually get the chance to get them off.
Yeah, I mean, I I'd actually be curious. Maybe when you're talking about some of the stuff coming up, I'll look at my selection team because obviously I had all the maxed like crazy ice
Yeah.
VCs and stuff trying to earn the unit. We don't know how to say the name yet, and we'll figure that out later. But I'd be curious to see how high it got because I did have
Yeah.
a pretty fat like a 20. I think I had Shiva on him, so a 20 agility there plus
But
the 15% party and all that. So I'll see where it's
yeah.
at. But again, though, like disadvantages here. I mean, Valade still has like negative 35 slash, or like negative 15 to all the other physicals, which somewhat mitigated And if he, wears his TMR, but that's not happening. So I don't know. He's a really good support unit, just really hard to keep alive. But yeah, I mean, those are really attractive buffs, dude. Those are crazy.
The one question I have in terms of his buffs, because of the Emerald Echo buff, giving him that faster cast time, are you more tempted to run him on sub Red Mage for the fast cast buff of like 350 for 5 turns, or would you keep him
Mm,
on White Mage for the heals and the full life and stuff?
I think it would be in the context of if it's live PvP, definitely
Yeah,
map based. Like if it's somewhere where he can kind of stay in the back and I can like potentially run up and get a cheeky full life off later,
yeah.
maybe I do that. But I
Even
could
with healing down.
that too. That's the other thing. Well, yeah, I mean, an alive unit is infinitely better than a dead unit, regardless of HP.
Yeah.
So, that is a good point about fast cast. Though I didn't really think about that one. Ironically, not a very fast cast time itself, but um, the only thing I would have to look at is does the fast cast being cast first go faster when you go to apply your buffs than if you were to like he still has to take turns, right?
Yeah.
So because of low agility, even if he's casting faster, how often can he get both of his like really good buffs off? Because you probably want to have Ice Violation and Barb Lazara now. So adding a third buff to that, I don't know if that's gonna be faster than just doing the two and just being done with it. Granted, maybe you put how much cast time does Siren give? Because you could just maybe stick Siren on him. It still has high cast time.
If
I'm
I
looking.
remember, it's like 220 or 270 total, but like you can't
50.
get all of it and get everything else that you want to get.
Well, I mean, in this
Um,
build, you just want the cast time for him, right? Like
yeah,
you're not gonna make him live. It's
I get that.
200, so it'd be
Okay.
400, 280 cast time, 280, 280. No, you'd still have to have something else on to get another
Yeah,
tick. But yeah, I don't know. The upgrades are great. I'd have to think about the fast cast thing. Just definitely has some legs. He still gets Asuna, which is really important. Which is another
Ice.
attractive bit of white mage. So
Yeah, yeah. Ice doesn't have a vision
thank you.
card that gives us access to lower cast time, right? Faster cast time. I know, like some elements do, but like
Not off the
most of
top of
them
my
don't.
head, no.
I
I
know
don't
light
believe
does.
so.
Okay.
There might be like a weird like MR one that got some upgrade that I'm not aware of at the
Right.
moment. And
Yeah, fair enough.
I'll look while you're looking talk about those stuff, but none
Yeah.
of the UR cards do that as far as I remember. So
And the cool thing about Red Mage over White Mage is that it gives them access to Blizzara as well, like another attack spell.
bro, that
Um, Kind of like Chell.
Imperil though.
Yeah, that barrel. So I mean, like when you need like that like clutch attack spell
That's
on like
fair.
your
It's 15
throwaway
AP.
unit. Yeah.
I guess so if somehow he's drained his AP bar because your
I
opponents
mean,
have just ignored him all game. Maybe he can just throw out one last Blizzara, but
have you
I
looked
don't
at his
know.
magic stat like total?
I have not actually.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm curious to see. Like, you know how
220 on the on Watt v Calc, like at the very bottom. Allow me to look at my team though from the selection.
some lower rarity units just get like bonkers like stat upgrades. Like I've seen Fina at like 1500 magic. Um, just off the top of my head, I know like Phoebe can also get pretty crazy high.
So in this formation, now granted this is 5 units, but the things that impact his stats definitely could exist with 3 units. Because there's no like 15% health or whatever in 10 ice attack. I had him. He's at level 108 out of 120, so he's a little lower than max. He's got like the Unistaff, Plat Robe, Zombie
Right.
TMR, Shiva, and then the Maniple VC. He's at 5,002 health, which is actually a lot more than I was expecting, to be fair.
Wow. Okay.
He has 84 agility.
Okay.
That's with the VC, the 15% VC party in the party, his Emerald Echo buff, and Shiva.
Okay.
So
Not bad.
not awful. And then he has 662 magic, but I don't know if my Shiva is still statted for magic percent. I think it should be, but it's not a lot because it's not like Bahamut where it gets like a high percent, right?
Yeah. And is that with the 50% like magic buff from VC?
There is no ice 50% magic buff
Yeah.
yet.
Yeah. So you'd have
So
to.
no, actually, I can
Okay.
just look at the party abilities. I always forget there's the like party ability summary. I should just look at it right here. How convenient. Oh yeah,
Yeah. Like
definitely
I'm
nothing for
guessing
him there.
ice attack, agility up slash attack, attack up
I mean,
50%.
Last well card, Freezus,
Yeah.
Fenrir, Maniple, and
Oh, free.
Trist.
Okay, cool. So not no Shiva.
Now, Shell in this formation though has 1275 magic.
Hell yeah.
She damage capped people in the selection quest. It was sick. But all right,
Oh man.
enough about Blade. Let's move on to other things and be a little less biased here. So bring us into Tyrell.
All right. Yeah. So um, I wish I could say I like Tyrell. Just like main job knight. Uh, it's
Yeah,
one of those jobs that's like really lackluster, like cleric or um, green mage
grateful.
or something.
I knew it. I knew it
So
was gonna be Great Mage.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Nah, you're right though.
But yeah, I mean, like it's a great job, like for like a sub job or something. But like if your main job, like green mage or knight or something, like you just know that they're not going to be able to really compete at the higher levels with some of these other like OP units. I don't know, like Cloud off the top of my head, just like his crazy main job plus ranger sub. Yeah, and Viking and Lancer. That's not doing him any favors. But anyways, let's get into his upgrade. Um, so basically, because he's a knight main job. His two upgrades are to his knight skills, obviously. So divine healing, like the max HP up, gets upgraded to divine power, and his AP break gets upgraded to AP pilfer. I'm sure you can guess where that's going.
Pilfer is a weird
Um,
term to give to a knight. It seems very like
yeah, right. Like I'm gonna
back alley.
sneakily.
Like
Yeah. Okay, so I mean, divine power. What that does is it just increases Tyrell's defense. It just increase. It gives him defense pen 40.
that makes him a new
Like
unit.
I mean, yeah.
An updated unit. Yeah,
I mean, even in the
literally.
original tactics, like knights were like pretty powerful, but like you mostly use them for their breaks, and that's kind of how I see Tyrell. Um, the AP break, upgrading to AP pilfer, you're basically absorbing 40% of the AP that you break. So it's, I mean, yeah, I agree. Pilfer is kind of a weird way of going about and saying like, yeah, it's AP absorbing, like AP take or something instead of AP break. Anyways, his job 25 skill is called Grudge Blade. I think I can get on board with that actually because yeah, I mean you're taking damage, you're breaking them, you're like breaking stats or whatever, and taking damage while you're doing it, obviously because they're really close range. Grudge Blade is damage 200 modifier at max, and um, it increases it by 15% every time you receive damage. Up so after 5 times, it's basically the same as the pugilist uh, skills, like a couple of them, like what is it, Demon Purger or something, um, where the more you take hits, the more damage you're going to do with those skills. So max like damage modifier 275. So that's actually kind of cool. The fact that he gets 3 casts of it, 24 AP, not too bad. And like range of 3, range height of 1. It's a decent like mid range skill. I'm actually kind of surprised to see it. So like on your I don't know water selection quest team, like he can actually um, get some damage off, even if he doesn't have any. Like there's no multi-hit abilities. Really, all the rest of his skills, like he's not really built for damage. But the fact that his job 25 skill gives him like a damaging ability, I think might catch people off guard if you ever, for some reason, use him in live PvP or auto PvP even. I
So I
think it
take
may,
it you don't like him for live PvP.
I wouldn't like
Immobile, slow water unit with low range. Yeah.
exactly like in base agility 49. Yeah, I wish I could say that he's a viable unit, but maybe people can find a use for him. Like if you build him all tanky and you give him the right protections against the team you're using or whatever, maybe he can cause some damage and steal all the APs. The old mana strike strat, except for
I
AP
mean, he
break.
has mana strike, so he can do it both. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Depending on if water does more to a certain unit, mana strike. If he's got slash bonuses and stuff, AP pilfer.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, it's a pretty no brainer to put him on Lancer. Viking is kind of I mean, it's kind of useful, like not really for drain cyclone, but like you can still do decent damage with like launch, and if you have them like high faith or whatever for whatever reason, like being able to mobilize with knee breaker, it's kind of nice. But most likely you're gonna have them at 50 faith or lower. So you know the lancer, just like throwing chucking javelins with Nighthawk from you know on the height range is kind of the way to go to for like not a gap closer, but like while you're waiting for them to engage you or something, or you just need that range. Because he doesn't really have great range with the rest of his stuff. So um, yeah, I wish I could say like it made him like more like super viable, but he gets more damage. And really, that's what it comes down to is like he doesn't really get more versatility.
Well, he does
I
have a
don't
little.
like
I will say the range is decent. It's not
yeah
linear only. It has
yeah
the
range
whole
out of one
range, and it's 3 spaces, which is more than knights typically have.
yeah. But I'm just not super enthused about like just straight up damage upgrades. But
Yeah,
it
fair.
can be a surprise, you know. So don't like don't underestimate that. Like try to take that into account if you ever see the team.
The disrespect.
Ah man, he's got negative 25 stop resistance, dude. Negative, and I mean he's got great pierce resistance 20,
Can
but
stop, will stop.
his strike res is negative 15. His magic res is negative 25. Uh, I don't know. All right, next.
Miranda.
Yay. Okay. Miranda is definitely more of a yay. Let's talk about this unit. I know people that run like double quicken teams, especially water teams. Like Vinny Valiant is the first person that comes to mind, obviously. And you know, shameless about like advertising the fact that he's like all about the water. Goes for those units like every time. So she gets some interesting upgrades. So the first upgrade that she gets, the Mage's Protection passive that gives the unit like 15% the magic res, gets upgraded to it reminds me of Freyavia, like her when she got the passive that gives her both like more like slash resistance that she really needed.
Mhm.
This is kind of reminiscent of that. It's slash and magic res 15%, and like immunity to slash and magic res debuffs. So that's pretty cool. I mean, it's a nice bonus, but like I wouldn't say those are like common debuffs. You don't really see many debuffs besides like defense breaks or like imperils or something. But you know, there's always I don't know like Dwayne's or like Gilgamesh's like slash res like break from like Kotetsu or what's it Armor Crusher or something. I may be mixing up with Sid. Anyways, yeah, really good passive. You're probably gonna always want to put that on her, even if you're not like being tanky. Because I mean, the only reason you would not want to use this is if you're going like holiness protection and speed cast. So really, I mean, like speed cast is probably like her best passive, wouldn't you say? So it's kind of a toss up between
Normally, yeah.
yeah,
It's hard to leave
but
home without speedcast.
yeah, but there have been situations that I've seen in the past where like you don't always want speed cast because it depends on like your other quickener or
I
if you're just
mean, do
doing
you
single
remember the
quicken or whatever.
tournaments where you have Paladin? Where was it
Yeah,
against
yeah,
you that I
it,
used Paladin Miranda?
not just me, but yeah, I
Yeah,
remember.
yeah, Paladin Miranda with
So
I think I didn't have speedcast in that build. It was Mage's Protection and Holy Knights.
yeah, so like
Super
that
niche.
just makes her even more tanky, you know. What was her base mat or slash resistance? Wasn't it
Her
10?
base is 10.
So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, so it brings it up to 25. If she's
It's
using
respectable.
Siren, you know, it'll bring it up to like 45, I think, 40 50.
50, yeah.
And that's even before vision cards. So yeah, remember back in the day when we would just like try to stack like one attack resistance? I
Yeah.
remember Engelbert, I could get him to like 98% or something. So it's cool to see a caster like Miranda still be able to build that kind of resistance, you know. Um, but yeah, so her next upgrade is her jamming thrust ability. So that's I think it's one of my favorite upgrades, honestly. Like jamming thrust is just so popular, so much damage, so many casts. But the upgrade to it not only increases the damage cap from
So
200
stupid.
to 250, but even if it misses, it's a dispelling. It's called dispelling thrust. Dispelling thrust. Dispels all buffs, dispels haste. So it's basically like Halloween Little Leela's LB, for anyone who's needs a reference for the whole dispelling all that stuff. It's still it's still a jamming thrust. It still cancels casting. But the increase damage to 250.
Dude,
I'm waiting to see her hit damage cap, like you talked about Chell hitting damage cap just a
dude.
bit ago,
This is so
right?
insane.
Yeah, it's
250
crazy.
on jamming thrust? It's already like one
Just
of the best abilities in the game. Like,
yeah, yeah.
holy shit. Alright, so
And so her X like upgrade job is
gonna
called
give it to you.
Dispeller. X gonna give it to you. So she's like her upgraded job is Dispeller, and no surprise there with the dispelling thrust and stuff. So her job 25 skill is called Water God Dispeller. So it's specific to like her Water God is specific to her.
Mhm.
Um, it dispels re-raise before it even hits. So if it misses on Zazan, it's still gonna like get rid of his re-raise. So that's amazing, honestly. Damage is respectable. It goes up to 185, and on top of that, there's a base 25% chance to inflict sleep in that cross AOE. So yeah, that's a crazy useful like job 25 skill, honestly.
It's
Um,
these are very, very good
yeah,
upgrades.
and it's as fast as like your base element spell, like fire, water, banish. It's cast speed of 360. So, um, speed cast on her, like she can get it off really quickly. And anytime you see an AOE skill that you can get off really quickly, it's going to be like really clutch and really useful,
Did you
even
see that
without
she
like
also
the
gets
revive.
4 agility
I did not see that. No,
on her board? Yeah.
I think that's going to be
Kind of frightening.
competitive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
I don't
looking at the
remember the max speed she gets up to, but I mean, yeah, you've seen how viable Phoebe is just like with her X upgrade. So yeah, I think Miranda really got the long stick. She missed the short end of the stick.
she got oh god. Anyway,
The wa-
the long stick. Her magic is not super impressive though. It's still
a
down at 336. She's still kind of that
oh,
like mid-range
bummer.
supportive value.
Yeah, red mage, not like
Less than Ildira. Just let that sink in. And her agility is at 58 after all of that is accounted for, which is pretty respectable for a not like ranger
yeah.
gunner
I
unit.
mean, wait, but her base is 54. Her board is 8, so she goes up to
Oh, maybe the
62, right?
index didn't update the new stuff yet, because like Rafale is not on there yet. So maybe these
Okay.
EX upgrades also aren't.
Yeah, she hits 62 after her board increases. And
Okay, then
even
yeah, the
even
index is updated. Damn.
even base 54 agility is kind of nice for like a mage with like no like reason to be fast,
Right, right.
so yeah, that's interesting. I bet she can hit like 90s for agility. Just off the top of my head, we'd have to
Without
ask
like going
Vinny for
super
the
hard. Like obviously you can
yeah,
try really hard and get
right.
units up into like the hundreds, but I mean it's 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 nicer if you can just kind of casually hit like 80s, 90s.
Dude, just imagine if Dispelling Thrust got like an extra like square for range. If it was like range 6 or whatever. That would just be
I
like,
actually thought it
holy shit.
was. When you started
Yeah,
talking, I
right?
looked at the indicator. I'm like, that's not more range, is it? It at that point, that's just like
That's like Mish.
I can't imagine. That'd just be so insane. Oh man,
Yeah.
that's a really good ability though. That's gonna really make me consider maybe investing some resources into getting her up.
So I'm not really gonna say it's toss up still between like Time Mage and Paladin for her sub job. It's really just depending on the situation as usual. Like if you're bringing her to be a double quicken team, then obviously you're gonna use Time Mage, and if not, if you just like using her, then probably gonna do Paladin. I don't know. Your mileage may vary. The fact that she gets Immortal Spirit and Sentinel has always been awesome. So yeah, just I really want to see her at 120 and just having like a ton of HP, like OG Zazan of all units getting like over 7k, and just being tanky and um, just jamming everybody's thrusts.
Excellent. Speaking of her jamming things, you want to talk about the VC too? since it's kind of definitely coincides with her upgrade and has her ability on it.
So the VC is called A Vow to Meet Again, and I really like the story behind it. Like you don't really see much interaction between Miranda and Ravies. And this is why it's like they were originally like they were super competitive. They didn't like each other, but because they had to interact with each other, they like grew this friendship, this competitive friendship. Like it reminds me of those of us in the live PvP community that are like active and engaging in conversation a lot. Like yeah, like at the end of the day we compete against each other in tournaments and class match and stuff, but it's still like a it's usually like this mutual respect and
Hmm.
like sportsmanship kind of thing. And that's what this really makes me think of is that whole aspect of live PvP. When when you actually get around to like not trolling and actually getting to know who you're fighting. But the VC itself, it kind of just makes me sad. I mean, the base HP is 332. That's not too bad. Magic is 184. That's actually really high. Um, but it's basically the water agility VC. You get the 15% agility for the party. It also like throws in like 10% missile resistance. That's not too bad. Because having missile resistance against lightning units is always a good idea when you're running a water team. And the fact that it also includes lightning resistance 20 for water units, that's basically like just um, that much more of a defensive card against like Frederica Cloud teams. Um, uh, you know, they have missile resistance penetration and defense penetration nowadays, but it still might make the difference between like getting one shot into getting two shot or two shot into three shot or whatever, depending on your buffs. Um, it's specifically a card from Miranda. She gets her own like global buffs. Um, I wouldn't really see Ravies using this, but it's that hybrid like it's for Miranda and Ravies. But the bestowed effects for water is magic up 10% and defense up 10, a decreased evasion rate of 5. But you're not really gonna really worry about that um, for because it's a magic VC. Like you're not going to be putting it on Halloween Little Lita. Miranda herself is not going to be trying to evade. So it's like the whole. What are the passives? That's like, or is it vigilance or something on Ranger where you
For
I don't know where you decrease. Oh, Sentinel, you
yeah,
decrease
no,
evasion
yeah,
rate, but you get a bunch of defense or and spirit and stuff.
yeah. Hmm.
Miranda herself gets HP up 10% and increased magic attack by 10. Um, so the fact that it has a high base magic, she gets like some really nice like magic attack upgrades for her kits, and she gets like an extra 10 magic attack from just this VC, as well as the 10% like magic and stat. Um, I guess I'm kind of coming around to seeing how it's not that bad for a water team. Um, my first impression of it was like, yeah, just instant skip. But I should have put more thought into it than I did at the summon screen when I looked at the stats, first thing.
Fair. Yeah.
So for people missing out on Scion of House Belv, if for some reason you don't have the Black Rose Helena card, um, etc. Like it's good to have agility up on your team, especially for mono element stuff where you get a bunch of different like hybridized kind of buffs. So yeah, it works out for her. Yeah, I'm kind of biting my tongue, shooting myself in the foot. My initial impression, I think, was a little wrong. So I will admit that it's actually not that bad. I don't know if I'm going to go for it though. Um,
Hmm.
Despite having like a pretty healthy like water roster, um, I'm gonna have to sit back
It's
and think
not
about it now.
limited, which is like one aspect of
Yeah,
that, right? Like it is going to be in the pool. If you ever end up doing like guaranteed UR pulls in the future, like there's a chance to get there, and you can always medal the shards for it. So
yeah. Ravius gets 10% HP bestowed.
sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Deal. Yeah, I mean, not that I think it's gonna make the world difference because elemental advantage is just a different beast than resistance is, right? Like it's after
Yeah,
all is said and done, multiply by
25%. Yeah.
25, yeah, an extra 25%, or take 27% off. But yeah, the combination of 10 defense, a fair amount of health between the stats on and the bestowed, for Miranda specifically, but the missile resist and the lightning resist, it at least helps against our public enemies. So um mainly
I just
Frederica.
uh I just realized that
Frederica
like
Cloud.
randomly like the t-shirt I'm wearing right now is like this like lightning strike. I'm not trying to rep the lightning teams or anything. Like I
And it's
think water
blue for
teams
water.
can be pretty strong. Yeah, so I just noticed that. I was like, "Oh man. Yay, lightning." No.
But yeah, so I mean, yeah, I think it's good, and the agility 15% is always something we're looking for. So it has a reasonable spread, and yeah, the high base magic, we were just talking about how low her magic is, so helps there. So
I think one thing that I'd really like to see for her is the chance to be able to use a passive that increases her agility, so that you can switch that on or off to like do better with the agility tuning that you need for like a double quicken team.
you think
Um,
we're gonna get game design based on agility tuning?
yeah, it's already kind of broken, I guess.
I mean, you gotta do it yourself with those Hermes sandals, right?
Oh
Have a
man,
one, a two, a three, a four, a five. I mean, at
gotta.
this point, you kind of could, but yeah. Are you? Is that all for the Vladimir again?
Yeah, I think so. If you guys think we missed anything, let us know.
Actually, I guess we're gonna split this cast right in half: half water, half ice. If you want to go into Mind Flayer, and then I'll talk about Glacial.
So there is something that occurs to me. We talked a little bit about it before the podcast. So my initial impression was this. I'm still talking a little bit about Valdemir again,
Sure.
the agility water vision card. Um, it occurred to me like I was up last night like in bed, and I don't know why, but I was thinking about this vision card, and it occurred to me like my train of thought was like, I'm not that impressed with it. I'm gonna skip it. I wonder how many other people are skipping it. I wonder if Gumi is sad that they're not making money off this week, compared to like more popular weeks or whatever. Um, and from there, it was like, I wonder if they're gonna have to, like, if they get pressured from like the development team, like are getting told off by their bosses, like, oh, you're not making us money, why are you giving us this shit? um Honestly, I was a little worried about uh, it made me start to worry about like weeks, like downtime weeks where like you're not really excited about the content releases or whatever. um this card is not one of those, I need to have this right now in order to like do that much better, in my opinion. And it seems to me that it doesn't encourage them to have like a more varied kind of choice for like what kind of teams you want to run, what kind of builds you're looking for. Um, it basically, by not investing in, like by not giving us like a super power curvy kind of vision card, they're kind of losing money, it seems like. So um, it kind of sucks because like it's almost like they're really, I don't know why I keep saying pressured, but like if they're not always giving us popular stuff that makes like everybody's units like do more damage or be more tanky or whatever like effects, like then like if they're losing out on that, it kind of compels them to just make the power curve that much steeper.
Right.
And that's what it seems like is happening this week to me. Like they're being, it feels like they're not making as much money as maybe they're looking for, or maybe they're used to. And I don't know, it seems like that's bad for the game. So I'm kind of worried, but maybe that's just, I don't know, anxiety late at night or something talking. So um,
I
we
I
don't
think
really think
I.
about
Oh, you're
this
good.
kind of thing.
Sorry.
It's just one of those things that we don't really think about. We just kind of suffer the consequences of. And I know this is a PvP podcast, so like, um, kind of, it's relevant for us as a community because if we're constantly dealing with these upgrades to the power curve, obviously you should be familiar with that term. It's like power creep, power gap. Um, it's something that affects us. Just looking at like recent like 100 cost units like Black Rose Helena, King Mont, Yor Zazan, Elena. Um, the worse it gets, the worse it's going to be for us as competitors. So, yeah, just something to think about.
Yeah. I mean, I could see that. I think they probably do have some degree of a schedule in mind, though. You have to have some downtime. You can't just burn your players out all the time. So,
Yeah,
something like this that will be great for some people, but not relevant for most, is something that I think is good to release here and there,
yeah, I think
strategically
so.
while we have the downtime. Like we're we've all done. We have there's Ibarra right now and the whole global festival. It's the winter units. We just got done with Final Fantasy 15. Like they just made their money.
Yeah, I agree.
We know we have the global foresight that Final Fantasy 4 is kind of on the horizon. There's gonna be people who want Golbez and the EX versions of Kane. Like if they miss Kane the first time around or Rosa and they want them, especially with their EX buffs, like
So it's kind of on
I
purpose, you
think
think?
I could definitely be an on purpose thing. It's kind of like let's fill in this gap of something that one of our mono elements are missing.
Yeah,
Uh, while we can like afford to.
yeah.
I guess the
Hopefully,
choice of word, but
yeah. Hopefully they can afford to having like an off week or whatever, and without it like biting them in the ass. I
yeah,
don't really pay attention to like fucking like stocks or how well the company's doing, or whatever. And maybe that's not a good like maybe it's a good idea to take a look into that. I just don't care.
fair. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I can see your side of it too, though. I mean, who knows? In the end, we don't really know, and we just kind of have to wonder. So,
In the end, it doesn't even matter.
oh boy. All right, so take us into Mind Flayer.
No, I think you need a shot. I just did a bunch of talking.
Well, I'm about to talk about Glacial and all about
Okay.
Rafale. So,
All right. So Mind Flayer. So the 3-star the upgrade, it gives you silence res 20. And so like as usual, MR Espers they give you like the 20% status res instead of like 25 that you get from a UR Esper. Um, luck, max luck 73, max dex 78, agility max 12. That's just average values. The 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 Esper evocation, whatever. It's still the same. It's a guaranteed hit, which is nice for an MR Esper. But the chance to paralyze is base 30%. Kind of sucks. But yeah, in terms of the skills, like the upgrades for 3-star, it gets that water attack. It gets pierce resistance up to like I think that's 20, or is that? Oh yeah, it's 20. Also kind of expected for MR Esper, like you don't see the 25 from URs. Um, but yeah, between water attack, human killer, and fire killer, like you don't even really have to focus on like putting this on a magic attacker. Like you can still benefit. Like you know how like sometimes you're building a team and you're like, oh, I don't have like enough like physical like attack based
right.
espers to fill out for my team. So um this can still be kind of clutch for that. You're not really going to benefit from the silence res, but I do like to see like the trifecta of like you're using this water esper against fire units. That just kind of makes sense.
Yeah, does make sense.
Um,
Um, oh, sorry.
Weird pierce resistance, but I mean could be nice. I don't really
There's always
like.
that one tree you're like, what's
Yeah,
this?
Christmas, like winter mastery, like I don't know, fire pierce units aren't really that.
I mean, it's less confusing than the whole, oh, let's add lightning resist on our water esper to like do very little to nothing. Like just to
Yeah,
mitigate like the built
so
in.
annoying. Yeah,
It's eh.
2% each like each node.
Like
So
this
annoying.
Esper was nice back when it came out. It was one of those, like you
Yeah,
said, you kind of add on. It fills in a good gap. It's got human killer. It's really slow though. Like the 12 agility is a little rough. Um, 12 magic's all right. Yeah, I'm
it's
not
nice
super
to
excited about this or anything.
yeah
It's nice to like exist, but
yeah. It's nice to put on like a fast water unit. Like I don't know, like Titus or Miranda. No, I'm just kidding. Um,
Nice.
but yeah, so I mean, it's nice for the niche that it fills, but um, yeah, who knows what kind of longevity we're looking at for it, in terms of how many more like kind of water espers we're looking forward to, and as the years pass.
Right. Yes.
Glacial. I wish I was talking about Glacial because I really like the 3 star. I think in terms of evade teams, people have been looking forward to the Glacial 3 star. So yeah, let's hear it.
So Glacial gets, well, I'll start with the status resist here. Stop resist by 20. So that's
Very nice. Very fucking nice, man.
will take. I actually don't have a fully maxed Glacial. Fun fact. As my icy self,
Dude,
I'm not proud of it,
same.
but
I was waiting. I was honestly just waiting for 3 star. I was like, whatever, I'll just do it when I have to check. I actually have a bunch of max res units with Glacial.
so do
And
I.
it's
Yeah,
so
I've been prepping.
overseas.
I've been prepping. Most of my ice
Yeah,
units have Glacial at max, but
nice.
the upgrades, the two primary ones are increased slash attack down the side instead of ice attack because it already has it at the bottom. And the ice attack that it had just built in already was 25, so like it already had that sizable amount built in, which is sweet. Adding the slash obviously kind of hints that you should go in that direction with it. But something that's really cool is this other tree of luck, 15%. So, yeah, oh, nice. Yeah, they're cool. Yes. Um, think about what unit just came out. We have the ice selection unit. I've been waiting so long to talk about her, but we finally have a potential for an evasion team. So having a luck-based ice Esper with ice attack and slash
Yeah.
seems pretty sweet. 15 agility, not bad, especially for an MR Esper. So I 99 attack is lower, but I think the rest of this kind of makes up for it. Like I would definitely trade in pure stats just to have the stop resist. So pretty happy about it. Now there's usually like another little node on here though, right? Am I missing one of the new ones? It's just
No,
those two,
not
right?
for MR. Yeah.
It already had a little bit of evasion on it, but I mean it's just a normal.
Yeah.
The wind killer, wind resist, kind of normal icy stuff. Missile resist is nice though. It does go up to that 15, so it's
Yeah.
you can kind of just add on. Now, let me go to the builder real quick. I don't actually know. Can you get all the more universally desirable stats on it? So what I mean is like not taking the wind
Slash
specific, but yeah, going
ice
slash
luck.
luck and yeah, exactly.
I think so.
Ice slash luck.
Because
You
there's
can't do
only
missile.
three. Oh yeah, yeah. So there's only 3 luck nodes. So yeah, I think it's definitely possible. But
You
yeah,
could.
that's it's important to consider taking the missile res for like sharpshoots.
Well, yeah,
Just
you can take the
that's
full slash, full ice, full missile resist, and then both accuracy nodes, and that's like the full Esper. So that's a pretty good
yeah.
setup. If you're not a slash unit, you'd rather have the luck. You can go that way and take like 3 slash, or go with like the other attack percent node or something. Um,
Imagine
if you're not
imagine
slash, take
being
the slash.
imagine being a evade unit that's not slash.
Howling
That's yeah,
Lolila,
that's the
Howling
first.
Lolila, Medina
Mm,
back in
oh god, yeah,
March
that
of
ninja's so dumb.
2020, March of 2019. On
Uh,
manual only because she never used
oh,
Utusemi
thanks.
until her AI update a year later. Uh,
Yeah, Jesus. Um,
but if you
uh,
do go the luck way, so
yeah,
between like missile, you can get like 3 missile resist, which meh. I would maybe give. How much do you have to give up to go
probably the last 2
luck
slash nodes.
and missile? Yeah, last 3 you can only go one
Oh,
slash node.
okay.
And obviously, you want the ice attack. It's more universal. I guess, okay, if you're not on an ice unit and you just want the luck, missile resistance stuff, you can go all 3 of those. Get the extra increased attack, 4%, and then just pick your, aquatic
Yeah, yeah.
killer evocation. Which, so,
Which
it's not totally bad for non ice units.
that's just something that I've been always just been like fucking confused about is like how is the glacial Esper not like a magic Esper? It's totally a physical Esper and like I like I've always just been like, huh? Because it
It
just seems like
seems very magic y, for
like
sure.
magic ice bird,
Magic iceberg.
ice bird. Look at that
Berg.
little heart hanging out.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, I think the one like tiny little gripe I have about this is that it didn't come packaged with more evasion. Think about how awesome of an MR Esper this would be if it had more evasion as well as luck. But
Like
maybe
instead of
maybe that's
wind killer, go
yeah,
with
but maybe that's over the
or
top though.
quantum
Maybe
killer.
it'd be like too good, like best in slot kind of
Right,
thing.
right. I feel like that's a lot of Espers too. Like if you took one of like if you could just take their weird PvE nodes and just put it into another relevant PvP stat, like they'd all seem amazing. I feel like they'd be so versatile. But I don't know. I'm pretty happy with these upgrades though. It
Oh,
definitely
yeah,
incentivizes me to go down this route with it, especially for if we have
yeah,
more cost limited things that aren't just unit cost. This would be a really good contender, especially if ice evasion does become a thing.
yeah. Well, like even that, but um, just oh god, imagine having like a full evasion team with three evasion espers. So there's Tetra
Hmm.
Sylphid, the Demon Chimera, and now there's this. You don't get the full like whatever 25, 22 evasion or whatever, but you get the luck. And I think people might not consider how much 15% luck is when you're looking at luck and, like I don't know, high 300s, 400s. Again, it's base luck. It's not. So we often see like, I don't know, UR Zazan or something, for instance, like high 400, almost sometimes over 500. But
Hmm.
that's after all the like buffs and stuff. So, but it's still going to be maybe, I don't know, just off the top of my head, like 30, 45 extra luck. And that's significant.
For sure. That's all I have for the Espers. You good?
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about
Yeah.
Rafale, or we don't really have a 100% pronunciation down for this unit. I'm just gonna say Rafale. Are we cool with that? Do you have a way that you think would be better?
Deal.
Rafale. All right. Or Rafala, maybe Rafala. Um, we'll call her Raf. There we go. We'll just stop at that. No, we can't say
Tortilla.
Raf because that's
Oh,
like
Rip
Rathalos.
Rathalos. Yeah.
Ra- uh, Rafale. All right, Rafale it is. All right. TMR.
Taking the
Thorn
Rafale
Jacket.
for that.
312 HP, 14 Spirit, and 3 Agility. I'll take it. The only problem is it's a jacket, not an accessory, so you'd be hard pressed to have this on over the Santa clothes, but we'll get into that. TMR skill is pretty good though. 40% attack and 25% agility may be enough to potentially sway me towards that. Uh, although not having evasion again, maybe if you have a really good ribbon or something. Two
Two,
casts though, yeah, two casts,
always cool to see on the TMR.
pretty sweet. Oh, she's also 4-2 movement, which is amazing. Move and
Good
jump
old
as an
assassin.
assassin.
Yeah.
20% attack on her master ability besides the normal ice thing that most units get. Very high agility. She has, I think it's, well,
Six.
she has 68 after everything.
Yeah. 63. I think that's Frederica's base agility.
Yeah, she is. Yeah, she basically matches Frederica, and she does have agility passive. We'll get into that. It's a little, yeah, it's an agility passive only, really. But she has. There's no total stats on here yet. Damn it. I kind of want to pull up Oran J's video. Oran J did
Oh yeah.
a unit review on her. I'm actually going to do that. Give me one moment because he
What's
has
that?
all the stats compiled.
Yeah. So her
Um,
base dex is just over 200 and her luck is 182. It'd be nice if her luck was over 200, but her board gets it up to
Good.
250. But you always have to consider like the base stats for upgrades. So
Yeah.
I don't know how competitive, how evady she will be compared to like the top evaders.
Oh, we're about to talk about that.
Hey,
So I will be using Oran J's video here because he has her next to Venera. So we're gonna compare those two units. I'm 100% credit to Oran J for this because he did compile these, put them side by side. I'll link his video down below because like I said,
uh,
I'm using it. Uh,
I have expecting to hear his voice right now. Actually,
yeah, right. It's just pop him in. Hey, Oran J. I haven't donated blood for a unit in a while, but we're back on the podcast.
plasma, plasma.
Or plasma. Yeah, go listen to the podcast if you want to get that reference. Probably the best story you've heard on the podcast. But anyway, yeah. So her stats overall, I mean, she has just over 3,000 HP. She has 555 attack, which is sizable. 68 agility after all of her bonuses are accounted for. Um,
Can we just stop and say, like a year ago, 555 like attack being sizable is just like,
Oh.
what?
That would have been bonkers back
Nowadays,
then.
yeah.
I remember like the first time someone hit 1,000, we're like, game's dead. The game's
Yeah.
broken. These power creep. Ah! uh, yeah. So attack, yes. So pretty good core stats there. Obviously, she has things like Dex and Luck that will you need to consider, but it's not necessarily something that we all have kind of those values internalized to really compare. But what we can compare is the comparison Orange did was Luck to Venera. Now, the concern here is that how evasive can Rafale be if her stats are lower than like Venera's, and they are. So Luck 250 versus 265. Still quite a bit. 250 is a good value. On the index, the highest Luck in the game is Shadowlink's at 293, tied with Zazan. If you look at Venera, she's number 11. Engelbert's even higher. So Rafale's going to be down around like 20th place, around like Oldoa. So it leaves a little bit to be desired. And she does have lower attack than Venera, who has 595. So if you know kind of how much damage Venera does, you expect less from Rafale. However, Rafale has the passive, or the master ability, that gives 20%, which 20% of 500 is going to be 100, which puts you higher. So stats overall, unless that's, oh wait, that's built in though, isn't it? The 555, because this is based on the Watt v Builder, so that actually should be.
I don't like looking at the index.
Yeah, that's tough.
Base stats.
Either way, they're comparable after the percentages are factored in. And moving into her actually real quick, resists 5% up slash, 5% down pierce, 10% down strike, 5% up missile, and 15% magic, which will be sort of we'll get into that as well. Kind of her like weird sub build she can do. 50% stop resist, love to see it, especially as an evade unit. You want to not have you want to not get stopped. It's pretty bad. Stun resist 50, maybe relevant. And then Petrified 10 to reduce the amount of tilt for actually getting hit by that ability. Moving to skills, I'm not going to necessarily talk about every single skill because she doesn't have a new job. She is assassin, so we know what assassins do. Assassin main jobs have all the same skills except for their upgrades. So, however, her passive upgrade is pretty insane. As an evasion unit, you want the evasion up passive from assassin, which is plus 15, but sometimes it feels a little weird because it's like that's all you're getting. But now she gets Dark Moon Shroud, which is, first of all, badass name. Second of all, 12% luck. It's just extra evasion on the evasion passive. This 12% luck would not be accounted for on this compilation of stats. Yeah. And this actually puts her higher than Venera. So it's pretty good. It's like an extra 60 luck.
21.
Or sorry, no, it's not 500. Yeah, you're right. 21. Sorry. Looking at the wrong number, I was looking at 500. Yeah, so an extra 21.
Actually, it's basically 22. It's like 0.84. So you surround.
Yeah, and you have a luck percentage somewhere else, and you'll end up with them in there. Yeah. Okay, now we're closing the video because those are the comparisons I needed. Now we'll go from my brain. So, the other upgrade she gets in her assassin main job is one of my favorite things about this unit. Her Heavenly Blade, which is the 165 damage mod and a burst AoE centered on self, is upgraded to Heavenly Wrath. And before dealing damage, decreases AoE resistance by 30. And it's 100% hit. So, two things here. One, if a unit... So, being before the hit is irrelevant for this skill because it has 100% jets. However, I believe if it reflexes, it's still going to hit, right? I don't actually know how the interaction works. If you reflex a skill, the entire thing's blocked, right?
I think it...
Or no, it's not, because you can... Alright, so when you use like a reaction down, like a 100% reaction down, if they reflex it, I'm pretty sure they still get the reaction down for later because it goes before the hit, but then the hit...
On the spot, I'm suddenly like, I can't remember, but yeah, I feel like that's how it works.
Well, man, fuck. All right, yeah, I'm gonna have to look it up. I thought I knew what I was talking about. Now I'm like doubting myself.
Talking about.
Anyway, all right, skill sick. Decrease A resist by 30. That's important because there are things you can build They are slash resist, they're ice resist, they're defense. What you can build AoE resist, but it's far less common. And going negative in AoE resist is just, especially by 30, is kind of insane. And a lot of ice units do use AoE skills. I mean, you have things like Kotetsu, you have Curry with his like Frost Mob Barrage, you have Valentine Salir, like half of her abilities are AoE, like little crosses. Oran has AoE. Like most, I guess like Barrett might be the one where you kind of struggle to really want to use his an AoE skill that you might have, but it it sets up other units very very well. And just 100% hit chance in an AoE like that, like
Yeah, just
just
crazy.
walk in the middle of an Earth evasion team, and if they're in affinity range, you're hitting like all three of them. So this, it's very very good. The only thing she's missing from her like passives to be a a normal unit nowadays is like the 40% defense pen, but she gets that in her sub job under sniper or from her job 25 skill. So another one that's before hitting increases defense penetration by 40 on self, and from a range of 4, does a 165 damage mod. 22 APs like in middle range. I wish it was like something like 16 or 18, but it'd probably be way too good at that point. But yeah, Shadowless Blade is a pretty good skill for job 25. If you can't, I imagine she's probably going to be using something like Target to give her the defense pen more than she's going to be using Shadowless Blade, because you really want to get these armor cleavers and heavenly wraths off. Maybe a cheeky poison sting here and there. I
So
I really like these abilities
so
together.
I'm sure you know you're expecting the question, what sub job were you planning on use for her? Because there's one thing that really stands out to me, but I'm curious to see what your thoughts are.
Depends on the build, but uh
Yeah, 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 yeah.
prime so if she's on auto, probably using oh fuck. That's hard actually. So not assassin. The bind,
That's
you have the
no.
paralyze, you have the defense down, which you already kind of have, but it's only from behind. It's range 1, sees AP. Sees AP is cool. There are time
It's
and
pretty
places
cool,
for that, but
but it's not mana strike,
no.
which we still don't know why the fuck it's
Well,
like
it does absorb
hundreds
it
and
though.
hundreds of.
Mana Strike doesn't absorb it, right? It just
Right,
destroys
right,
it.
right.
Whereas
Yeah.
this one would take it, and it is a 25%, like quite a bit. But it can't. Yeah, I can't clear the bar. Blade Soul. Now this is where I was saying she has 15% magic resist built in. She has built in Spirit. I think it's 4. Uh, so she obviously has this weird like sub job, literally sub job, sub build where you can kind of become like a magic bruiser. Because in her passives with the Blade Soul things, which I guess we can talk about because it's not as like internalized, I feel like, 'cause it's a newer job. Spirit 12 and HP 12% on one passive on the Mind Body Unity, and the other one's Blade Soul Lore, which is 12% agility and 40 Spirit Pen. So for her, really, it's just agility because she's not going to be building a very high magic value. So you have to really weigh, do you want this extra agility? She could use Sniper Mastery for additional 12% luck, which is advantageous, and the Missile 15 attached to that same skill. That's pretty good if you're using the sub job there. Long range, meh. I'd probably just rather use the target buff and do it that way and just give up the one range. Acquired AP, maybe good for rating, but if I'm doing PvP, I'm definitely going with the
Right.
Darkmoon Shroud plus either of the other three. Most likely not Mind Body Uni unless I'm really going Bruisery, in which case I take off
Right.
the Evasion passive and I'm using Mind Body and Blade Soul Lore. Or sorry, not Blade Soul Lore. I guess at that point, yeah, I guess you have to choose still.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mind Body Uni instead of Evasion and then other stuff. Um,
Yeah, so sorry to put you on the spot there, but
oh, good.
the
The
skill
answer
I
is
was
Sniper, mainly.
yeah, okay. That's what I figured, but the
Dispel Scroll.
fact that she gets from her Blade Soul sub job, she gets the what's it called? The Banishing Barrier?
Hmm.
Yeah, Banishing Barrier. The fact that she has a magic barrier is just really nice with the way that she can build spirit,
Yeah.
and the fact that she has a nice magic res. It's really like she's not typecast into just being an amazing like evasive like ice units. The fact that she can suddenly switch to this, like uh, the one thing that's almost always been a constant with evasive units is that they take a shit ton of damage against from magic users because of their high faith in
Yeah.
order to like status effects or obviously status effects, but um she can be. a kind of a, like you said, like a magic bruiser. And I think that's really cool when like you're looking at an enemy Rafale and you're like you're assuming that they're going to be like this evasive unit, but suddenly they're a magic bruiser. They toss up banishing barrier. They don't have the evasion passives on, but they have like the blade soul passes on. You're gonna like you really have to pay attention to like the stat screen, and I think that's really awesome for a unit to have in their toolkit. Is like it's not just one role that they play. The fact that she's either going to be an evasive sniper or like a magic bruiser like Blade Soul, I think that's really cool. Even if she doesn't have that great of a magic stat to be able to take advantage of the Blade Soul like
Right.
magic attack.
It's just like
Um,
105 magic or something. Maybe I'll
yeah,
try to make it work sometime just
I
to be
was like,
cheeky, but
I was like, man, it'd be really great if she could use the ice brands. Nope.
oh yeah, daggers, yeah. So another thing with her evasion build is she has counter smoke from sniper, which I mean it has a
Yeah,
range of 3, which is sizable. It's better than doing like one range away or whatever.
yeah,
Decrease
yeah, yeah.
accuracy by 43. It's like a basically like a blind, but it's a debuff. So
Yeah,
and with a 30% chance, it's not bad.
her reactions are amazing, honestly. Like I'm
Yeah.
not sad about any of them, and
Like Dark
that's kind
Shadows
of
usually
rare.
pretty good. It hits, you get some CT and evasion. Like that's always been a good. I hate, man, when that procs in PvP. It is one of the most irritating things. It really can fuck with your timing. But I guess all right. So to answer your question, assassin I'm probably not using unless I'm doing some cheeky AP thing, whether
Right.
it be or PVE based, or I'm just doing like some stupid double quick in, try to take your AP and cheese you. Blade Soul is more of the bruiser build. The slash attack buff is decent. The crit rate, I'm not sure how good that is. I'd have to see some calculations about
Yeah.
kind of where you're doing that, because it is just for herself, so she has to be able to benefit from it.
Yeah.
But
That's what
slash
I was
buff for the allies is pretty good.
that's what I was gonna say next is like it's not just about the banishing barrier, but like you can decrease bravery by 40 if you get a crit
I
off.
would say,
So
yeah, if the crit's
it's a
really good,
crit
yeah,
build.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
And banishing barrier is very good. I still don't know how I feel about the damage barriers, especially
Right.
because this just says reduces the magic damage taken 35,000 for self. It doesn't say for turns, so it's just like a single use, like a single hit barrier. So I have to really think about that. Maybe see some, like if you think, all right, if a skill normally hits you for 8k and you just subtract the flat 350, that's basically like a 50% berry. That's pretty good.
Right.
But if they hit you with something smaller and have like a sub effect of like poison or something, then you're less excited because you're blocking, you know, not blocking a ton from this one threatening hit, and you give them an opportunity to hit you with a debuff, and they get to use a cheaper skill. But
So
40 TP is real good.
yeah, hell yeah, it is. I don't know if you've noticed, but I swear I recall like Jaden using like his TMR and like you know how like you throw up like the unit screen and it says physical magic barrier 3 turns left or like
Mhm.
3 hits or whatever. I swear it shows the amount of HP that you have left in the barrier for these things. Um, I haven't seen it in a while, so like
Oh, so it's like
I'm
the next,
remembering.
it up to that, so it's
Yeah,
not per use, so they can't do like a
yeah,
1% attack and like
yeah,
take
and
the
just get
barrier
rid of
off.
it. Yeah,
Okay, that's kind of cool then, because that could add into, okay, interesting,
it's
because
always
that's
going to
nice
be up to the
for
35.
multi hits. Like like Elena's really good
Yeah,
against barriers because she goes 1 2 3 and then giant hit off her own fucking three by
yeah,
three chain.
3 chain.
But if it's
I
this,
like
she has to
that.
go like hit for 500, hit for 500, hit for 500, hit for 500 or something if you have a lot of spirit and slash resist for some reason.
I like
Um,
that 3 by 3 chain. That's cool. I never thought about it like
I
that.
just made that up right now. I don't know where it came from, but it popped out. But most of the time, I'm excited about using Sniper, primarily because of the target buff and for Dispel Spread. Once in a while, target share might be nice to be able to give an attack buff, or slow shot, decreasing agility is pretty good. The disable, I've decided I'm keeping her on 50 faith,
Yeah,
because the fact she can tank magic damage. I want to kind of be able to lean into that if I want to.
I
And
put
it's
it at
not
70.
worth me to hit an 86 damage mod with only a chance to disable. It's just not worth it for me. It's there for target and dispel spread primarily, and I think those two things
Yeah,
alone are good enough because target supports her main skill, or her main skill set, and her main job.
yeah. Having like defense pen 80 on her job 25 skill is no joke.
And
Seriously,
plus,
like
oh sorry,
no, no, it's cool. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say plus, if you're using the evasion build, which is kind of where you can go with it, you're incentivized to then use her second luck passive, which then has missile attack, which helps the sub missile job. So you're kind of getting a loop of benefit, I think, from the evasion build with sniper, or general use build with sniper, or very specific magic tank with blade soul, and then different
Right.
passives.
It's kind of reminiscent of like Cloud, honestly, as like a ranged like defense penetration like killer. Like he gets a lot of defense pen, right? This kind of reminds me of that.
Yeah, he has like 80 without trying
But I mean,
too
this
hard.
that's only for a Shadowless Blade, like up to 80. So it's nice that it has 3 casts and it's only
Well,
22 AP.
she can't get 80, right?
Uh
So
oh, okay, right, right,
because
right.
they're both 40
Yeah.
buffs. So I actually
Uh,
left that comment on Orange J's video. He said the same thing. I'm like,
um, for some
they're
reason I
both
didn't
buffs.
see that
Yeah,
as a buff. Yeah, I thought it was just for this. Um,
it is
oh, it's
unfortunate.
weird.
She has no passive 40%. She has
Yeah,
no passive defense pen, and the only defense pen she has are on 2 buffs of the same magnitude. They're just gonna basically refresh each other whenever you use them.
yeah, engine
So,
dagger.
but that, I think part of that though, it's nice because she can also break defense and she can decrease AoE resist. So she actually has 3 different ways to do this. She can either ignore your defense, break it, or just go with your AoE. So I'd like that versatility. And then if she can't do a lot of damage to you because she can't break all your types, then she just poisons you. um, one other, well, I guess this is more of a no for a topic after this. So I'll wait
Okay.
on that. Anything else about her? I could probably just
Yeah,
keep on going off on like random
yeah,
ideas for her, but
yeah.
uh, I'm
No
gonna let
joke.
you let you do your thing.
Yeah, like no joke. She's one of the best selection units. Like it's just obvious how good she is. Um,
Actually, wait.
like up.
Here's a statement.
Yeah, yeah.
She's making me want to play free matches again, just because I want to try
Uh,
like a million builds with her. So,
nice. Yeah. The fact that she has a AOE resistance break, as well as like a bunch of different AOEs that she can use. Um, like I feel like her damage is going to be like impressive. Like back in the day when Venera was like, holy shit, how much damage did she do with armor cleaver? Or like even when she was on like her dual gunner sub job, which in my opinion like sniper's better. I'm always going to be sad that like a unit with the sniper sub job or a sniper job uh, doesn't get dispel spread, slow arrow, and slow shot. But
yeah,
we can't really complain. You know,
job 20
it's a sub
or
job.
job
Like
level 12
yeah,
skills.
yeah, yeah. But wow, God, I totally I'm blanking on what I was about to say. One thing that I wanted to mention earlier, the fact that she has that innate 50 stun res, it's going to be really useful against Tifa with her LB. That's like the one thing that kind of stands out to me, like just purely because of the elemental. Like
Hmm.
you're probably going to run ice into wind if you have the chance to, so probably going to see Tifa, but maybe not always. That's really important. So like just being able to like uh, not get stunned. Is the stun before the hit? So like even if she misses,
For Tifa,
yeah, yeah, yeah. I think it's
let me look.
yeah, yeah, a lot. I think the stun is like it needs to hit, but I'm struggling right now.
I'm gonna. It's on her
Um,
LB, right?
yeah, yeah.
Oh
Oh
yeah,
God, I just
has
did it
to hit.
again. Why am I saying yeah, yeah all the time? Oh,
Yeah,
I gotta get that out of my brain.
it's
Yeah,
me, right? I say that shit all the time. I'll take credit for it. I don't know if it's me or
yeah,
not,
yeah,
but
yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
But so it's just really exciting. Like you mentioned, like Kotetsu in conjunction with like Heavenly Wrath with the like AoE resist like down as well as the slash down. Just like I can just imagine having like Rafale, Gilgamesh, and like OG Zazan, and like Zazan gives like the man eater buff, and you just go to town. Um, I don't really see that team really working because I mean, like you would probably have her fall on like a Magic Bruiser at that point because she'd be the only really evasive one on that team otherwise. But yeah, I can't wait to honestly build her and see how well she performs. Like like I know you're like the ice guy. Like my ice roster has been it's been the most lackluster in terms of like the different elements. But she's really exciting to use. Like I would say it'd be really cool to run her with like Agrius at 120 and Gilgamesh at 120. Do you have any kind of
Yeah.
future teams you're looking at right now with her?
Boy, do I. All right, so let's talk. Sort of.
Rosa, Barrett, like Rafal. I mean,
So
this
the
will
first team I'm actually going to be trying is Rafale, Lastwell, Valentine Slayer.
Nice.
Or Valentine Slayer could potentially become Velric, because I think Velric is the third highest luck on the ice roster. So the Lastwell has the most luck. He's actually top 8 or top, yeah, he's number 8 for luck in the game. Rafale's not on this list yet, but she's gonna, like I said, around
Right.
20. Then you got Velric at 27. Right, I guess he's right next to Victra. They're off by 5, so you could actually just use Victra if you wanted. She does have this self evasion buff, which kind of makes up for the lower luck. But that's my first idea for an evasion build. And something important is that that ice does not have a luck 35% VC.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of an uphill battle. However, you do have the the OG ice Shiva VC that gives you the 20 evasion, just kind of like built in. I think it actually kind of has a shit party ability, right? Yeah, it's crit evasion 20. Not thrilled. But what we do have is Lastwell on this team with the Lastwell VC gets 10% luck on there, along with some defense penetration, and you get the agility for the party. Then, if you use Starlit Trist, granted this could be on Velric as well, but it gives any ice unit 15% luck on Bestow. So that
Nice.
helps. It gives 20 flat luck. So
Nice.
you can put that on
That's
Rafale.
insane, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can put that on Rafale, and it gives her Dex as well, which, I mean, she doesn't need that as much, but this also gives your team slash attack, which is helping, and spirit, so she leans into her ice a little bit. So I think Starlit Trish is actually a fairly decent card for her.
Yeah.
Rounding that out, I could see an argument for Mask of Deceit if you want the missile resist for the team. And that also has luck for whatever unit's holding that. So it's actually a lot of like flat luck or luck percent bestowed on these ice VCs. It's just you're not getting that 35, which is it is a huge loss to not have that. I'm not gonna
That's
pretend like
it's kind
that's
of
not a
the
problem, but
the flat luck is kind of insane because it's basically like a 12% luck passive. Like she's getting 22 luck from each of her luck passives.
12 you mean? So 12 and 12 is 24 plus the bestowed, you mean?
Yeah, so like she's getting like 44 luck from both of her luck passives, and then base 20
Wait, what? When are you
from
saying
just
44?
because so she has sniper mastery, which gives luck 12%, and she
12, yeah.
has her evasion. Her evasion upgrade is 12% as well.
Right.
So her base luck times 1.24, it gives her
Oh, you're saying the flat luck she
43.68
gets from it.
luck.
I thought you were saying percent. I'm like,
Yeah,
it's 12, not 24. No, I got you. I got you.
yeah, yeah. So I just said yeah, yeah again, dude. Get out of my brain. So it's 43.68 in the calculation or whatever. So I'm sure we can round that up to 44. And then so basically like the base luck from these vision cards being that high, it's serving as like an extra luck passive, and I just think that's crazy. It seems like it's like because we don't really think about it. We're so used to seeing like 12% or whatever. But anything like 20 or higher is for like dex or luck or like these off stats. It's actually crazy.
And if you want to hear some numbers real quick, I don't have her at 10 out of 10 with any Espers yet. But in a formation where the VCs are, she has Tristan, the last level VC with 15% agilities in the party. Then there's Shiva. She has Bells and her agility passive, but she has no Esper. No Esper yet. She's at 92 agility.
Wow.
Uh,
Nice.
so that could definitely jump up if I put, I don't know, like Fenrir is what, 15? So you can get some slash attack there with the or the magic resist. That's gonna put her up to what, 107 without trying
I
too
didn't even
hard.
I didn't even think about Fenrir the Esper. Like I'm liking the thought of her as being like this magic bruiser,
Hmm.
like more and more. Like she's gonna she's gonna do really nice, I think.
Yeah, and this is with the evasion luck and the blade soul lore, so the piercing rate. She has 23 spirit. Because of the Trist VC, the
Yeah.
Santa cloak, and just like it's this weird, just like she's getting stats from all these random places that are adding up to be a
Right.
pretty decent values. Now, how much? So we can expect like what, maybe 70 or 80 luck from an Esper on average.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
It's unusual to see it higher than 80.
she'll be at like 430 luck. So it's not like the highest in the world,
Yeah, it's not bad.
but like 4 to 430 range depending on the Esper you choose. And she's
And
at
then
926 attack and 4.5k HP with no Esper, which
and
is
then like
pretty good.
Llewellyn's TMR is just gonna make that like even better.
True.
You
Llewellyn's
can almost
TMR
like
could
60. Yeah.
fill up the space of the VC. So I think there's a decent amount there to get the evade, and I also, like you've been saying, like the bruiser build is there as well, and I'll be curious to see what stats I can push there.
People have been
There,
looking
there,
for
there,
people have been looking for an answer to Halloween Little Lilo at 120, and it's like I think Rafale can do really well as a counter to her.
Oh yeah. But to be fair, like Oron's been pretty good for that too. Like
Yeah.
he's very magic bruisery. You can throw like, I mean, even Valentine's Solaire to an extent. She's better against physical damage, but you can chuck her in there. Obviously, Fryavia. But without going too much more into that, I think that's where I would go if I was going evasion with her. Other ideas, obviously, yeah, Gilgamesh, her, and like, I don't know who does like a ice down. I don't even know, but like her
Last
Gilgamesh X, yeah, Lastwell has it. It's really short range, I think, but
Mediana.
going for all the resist downs, you could just completely imperil people. And at that point, I'd have her as more of a
Raider.
like not the not all the luck stuff.
Yeah.
So, which actually, that's another point. That's another good reason why it's nice that the luck's on there, so you have one for evasion. It's also nice that you can take one off for evasion. Just be like, all right, I give up all the stuff by taking this one thing off completely. Look elsewhere. All right, anyway, I'm gonna start repeating myself, so let's move on from her fall. She's very good. I really enjoy her. Kind of leads me into one other thought from last week, though, the winter coat. We talked about building a +5. You can't build more copies. Even without the +5 evasion rate, it is still better than a Sage's Hat, which I didn't realize that's how the math worked out. So it's actually +0s are just strictly better, right? Because unless you want that 14 magic, or like if the spirit's different, but like 340 HP with 29 flat evasion is just better. And then you also have some light resist, which is cool. So I didn't realize that, and I realized it like the last day of raids. And I still have some medals. I think I'm just gonna make a bunch of +0s and hope for dodge versions to have those for my teams, because like I don't see a reason to use Sage's Hat anymore, right? Am I missing something here, or?
I mean, given the like choosing between the two, it's a no-brainer. Like the only way that you wouldn't be able to use winter coat is if you don't have access to clothing. Like you, for some reason, you only have like hat.
Well, the
Yeah, you
Sage's
Sage hat or whatever.
it is a hat, right? It's not armor. Okay,
I'm
so
pretty sure
there
it's
is a potential to have that different. Okay,
but yeah, it's super niche.
it's
I
very
was actually,
rare. It's normally the other way around, right?
before
Like
we
you can
move
use
too
cloth
far
beak.
onward, I was looking at her. I just wanted to mention real fast. I was looking at her TMR again with that attack and agility up. She gets almost 16 agility from the TMR, and she gets like 132 attack. So yeah, really nice for her,
Put
honestly.
Valadega on the team and give her that 25 buff too.
Hey,
She'll probably move again before he finishes the cast time.
anyways, do you have any more thoughts on her?
Lots, but not. I don't want to make the whole podcast about her. So, maybe I'll revisit in the future if like something really interesting pops up, or like really like, oh, this team with these builds have like 0% chance to hit her. I don't know where the numbers came from, but it's how it worked out, kind of thing. But until then, yeah, let's move on here. So winter coat, I had that as a note. I just wanted to mention. It just wasn't something I processed. Like the fact that it's just
Right.
better than Sage's Hat, even at +0. So
Yeah.
for evasion specifically, again, and HP, and I think defense and spirit also. Is that right? Is it actually just?
I would assume so. I mean, it's UR rarity, so I would assume that it's
Dodge has 4.9 and hat is 2.7. So yeah, it's the UR version of a Sage's Hat, except for the magic, which is fine. Deal. Like I'll take the 10% light resist.
Oh, missing that magic.
But okay, enough of that. Something I wanted to ask you. What are your favorite Espers to use? We actually touched on this a little bit earlier. Espers to use off element. What I mean is a lot of. I feel like I've been down this rabbit hole in my own brain recently where I'm like trying to focus on the level 99 bonuses of like, oh, this says 25 Earth. Like, how could like Titan, for example, like how can I really put this on all my Earth units now? I got to get resonance because it has this and that, and I'll figure out the other stuff that goes with it. I just want the element attack because it is versatile, right? If you have different damage types, the Earth attack helps them all. But if you don't have an Esper that like you've already used your main one you'd want to use on a unit, you have to go to a secondary and maybe you don't need the on element. What are some of your favorites to use that are more universal
I mean, honestly,
besides Odin and Bahamut?
yeah, I was gonna say like that's the first like we get the first step we got to cover is like if you can't have Odin, like Bahamut's a great choice. It's the agility and the man eater
Even if
just
you're an attack unit.
yeah. No, it works. I don't know if people sleep on that as much as maybe people think they do. But so you got to tick that off in terms of like just agility espers that help you do damage against other humans. Um, it depends on the unit, honestly, but like for me, I always have like you want to have like a defensive Esper, so like I don't know, like Odin or Death Machine or um, Demon Wall for the slash resist, or Siren if you need. There's the magic resist like Fenrir, uh, Omega. There's some of these like limited espers. I don't have the maniple. I don't remember exactly um, like what some of these espers have. I don't have Eleficaris yet, but you.
Maniple
I mean,
slash resist,
slash resist. Okay.
and I think it has two. No, I lied. Yeah, it's just slash resist. It's pretty high though.
For me, like until recently, I had the upgraded pass or whatever. I can't remember, premium pass, like almost every week. So it's never been about having a lack of resonance for me. Like it's always like I want at least like 4 or 5 espers per unit, and if I don't have them yet, then I'm going to be working on those.
Hmm.
And it's like so you cover the bases like what resistances you want, what defenses or what offenses you want. There's always the like the elements attack up to consider. There's the evasion like espers like Tetra, like we said, like Tetra, Diamond, Demon Chimera, and now Glacial. Um, what really separates I think maybe the answer you're looking for from person to person is how accessible maxing resonance on these espers is, and that's for me like even more than the 20 hard quests is like the being able to build resonance twice as fast, because you never know when you're like, oh shit, like I don't have like the element espers I need, so like I got to go off element and use like Omega on a light unit or like an earth unit or something. um or you use Phoenix as a fire element on like I don't know, like Earth or something. Um, Phoenix is like one of the only ones that has like HP buff
Hmm.
uh, to be able to help out tanks. Like Engelbert or something. Having like over 10,000. Have you seen a 15K Engelbert yet?
I can't say I have. I know it exists. I don't
Yeah.
think I've seen it personally.
It's what's weird to me is like for those of us that have been playing since launch or since like early on,
Seeing
um,
5 digits.
it's yeah, it's almost like some espers are getting phased out. Like two-headed dragon has like abysmal agility, but it used to be like the accuracy esper. But now there's Odin, there's Ramu, there's the Typhon. So like I don't really use two-headed dragon anymore. Um,
It's
so
interesting
like
because I don't, unless I miss it, I think you're actually missing the number one Esper I've thought of for this question. And
yeah,
it's so interesting how we think differently about this. I mean, continue. I'll bring it up when you're
yeah,
done. But
yeah. 3 years that time. Um,
the
yeah. Uh, I haven't even touched on like the lower rarity stuff. Like it's important to have lower rarity espers if you're going to be a live PvPer. There's the limited teams, like even if you're not into live PvP, like the limited cost, like guild battles or whatever. Like having an option that lets you fit like the unit that you're looking for into that limited cost team is really important. Which it's why we get excited about MR Esper upgrades like Glacial, Bloody Moon, even Chocobo, like back in the day, like the MR like winds like missile Esper or whatever.
Some of
I
the
remember,
like most favorite releases, I think.
yeah, Demon Chimera was huge for like a second like evasion Esper. Um, even like I swear, Cactuar and Bomb are like
Cactuar,
one of my
dude.
favorite like
Yep.
SR Espers. Like you gotta
Yep.
have Bomb, you gotta have Cactuar. Fuck Ogre, Zoo, and Floatai. But I mean, it's nice that we have these options. What was the question again? I'm just kidding.
What, yeah, right. What Espers off element would you use?
Yeah,
Mostly, like I said, I'm thinking about things because most of the bonuses, not all, but most are, the wind Espers get wind
yeah.
attack, the earth Espers get earth attack. One of my, the main one I was thinking of here is Golem, is one that I always think to max on almost every unit
Yeah.
because it has defense, which is universally applicable. It has Maneater, which is universally applicable. And then, I mean, TP and like Earth Attack and stuff. You start get
Oh
after those two, you start going a little
no,
lower.
don't even.
But
Those are the two.
here, yeah, those two together are enough. And I mean, I used to be happy
Yeah.
just with
Oh
those.
yeah.
Like the rest of this is gravy. Earth Resist actually could be pretty relevant depending on
Pierce
what
Res.
content you're playing. Pierce Res could be
It was
depending on the
like
meta.
Golem was like the original like Pierce Res, Golem or Esper.
But it has like 1500 HP and like really high attack. The agility's lower, but it's a really nice stat stick
Yeah.
just for having those two trees
Right.
and yeah, I always find myself going that way.
Like
Phoenix to a lesser extent, but at the same time Phoenix has like it has the HP and it has the defense, and then again it kind of stops after that
yeah,
unless you're a fire unit or doing PvE, I guess. And then
building it quick
Cactor and
res.
Bomb are the other ones that like I always put on every unit. Um, and actually, the other one is Red Chocobo. So Red Chocobo has 17 agility as an MR Esper, and slash. It's not even a fucking like 3-star Esper yet, and I still use it on a lot of units. Because it has the attack, it has the slash attack, and then missile resist. Like those, and the little accuracy nodes, evasion nodes, whatever. Like those things alone, though, I mean, make me excited to use it. Um,
I totally forgot about Red Chocobo.
Yeah. Like I was using Oron the other day with Red Chocobo. I forgot it wasn't even a level 99 one. I'm like, I just want this agility slash and missile res. Like that's good
I
enough for
think
me.
if I remember correctly, it was one of the like first MR Espers with a guaranteed hit, like evocation.
That is trivia that I am not comfortable confirming or denying. So
And
I
the
can't
range is insane. It's like 5 range across AoE, range and area height 1. Like it's not bad. Like I think I don't know how much that gets taken into account for using Red Chocobo, but it's nice. It's nice.
And the
It's
other one is
a
Siren
little perk.
for
Yeah,
me because slash resist is so good, high agility, and
yeah.
now it has cast time down, which is just this crazy, just
I
random
think
thing you can have.
I think my difficulty with answering your question is that I just do it so much.
I guess you can think of a reason for most of them, right? Because the
Yeah,
resistances,
as
but
long as you have access to building resonance on like a bunch of espers,
yeah,
that's really what it came down to for me.
I guess I think of it more as there are some that I would use on every unit, and there are some but then like there's certain units that I'm happy using any Esper. Like you can find
Yeah,
something for them. But there's some, yeah, like I said, like Golem, Siren, Cactor, Bomb, Odin, Bahamut are like the ones I want if
yeah.
I could on every unit.
That's one of the takeaways, honestly, from the PvP tournaments that a long time ran. Like for the longest time, it was like, holy shit, I need to work on my resonance game.
Yeah.
I need these espers right now. I don't have them. Holy shit! And like I remember, like you, like in class matches in the past, you were like, I need my bomb esper resonance max. I'm just gonna go do that. Yeah, so yeah, it's super, super
500 skip
relevant.
tickets later, we
Yeah,
got
exactly.
there. A whole day's worth of energy, but it's worth. Which, by the way, I don't have any more like main topic thoughts, but I have a feeler to put out for anyone who wants to comment and kind of respond to this, and also get your idea or your response here. I was thinking of tournament ideas, or at least like limitation ideas that are less like calculating costs and limiting those things, and just something very simple, clean cut. What if? And this sounds really fun to me, but I mean, maybe you can knock some sense into me, and I'm wrong. every team slot, so set of unit, Esper, and vision card, can't share rarities.
Okay. I can see.
So if you want to use a UR unit, you have to use an MR and SR, or R, I guess,
Yeah,
Esper and vision card. But you could sacrifice
doesn't
a UR
include gear
unit to
though.
play like an MR to use a UR vision card. But then you have to have an SR Esper.
Yeah, that doesn't sound too far off from the limited costumes that we're used to using. Almost
Well, I
always you
think
have
it's
to
the
make
SR one though,
concession.
because there's 3 SRs across the team somehow, whether it's a unit, a vision card, or an Esper across all of them,
Yeah,
which is the main thing I wanted to kind of force.
yeah, that would definitely
Because
kind
like
of
after Cactuar Bomb,
pigeonhole
what do you do?
teams. Phoebe, like you
True,
have to
true,
take
Phoebe.
into account like the crazy like efficient like units, like lower rarity units, lower rarity espers. I wish we could say the same about vision cards, but they're still like fucking Leona's Castle still stands out for just being a great, efficient like cost vision card.
Yeah, that was what I was thinking of. Trying to like mix up rarities, and I was like, well,
Yeah,
it's one thing to do like a UR unit, an MR unit, and SR, but at that point, people start using Zazan, or they start
right.
using like, I mean, I use Mish now, or
Yeah,
they're actually, it's not that much of a restriction to use them sometimes. But
I
if each
think
one can't, because you can just stick on like Odin or Bahamut onto an SR, and all of a sudden they can kind of keep up.
I think your idea is more viable nowadays. Like as the game progresses and
Oh,
we have
for
more
sure.
variety, like
Yeah,
a year
absolutely.
ago, uh,
Especially with EX jobs, like
maybe
SR
not.
units are a lot more attractive. Like
Yeah,
I wouldn't mind using
exactly.
Valade on this team, right? SR unit,
Right.
give him like Shiva for the Esper, and then have an MR like, I don't know if it'd be Curry or like the Winter Moogle or something for the VC.
Imagine quickening him before quickening your hyper carry, just
I
to
mean,
get
I
off
just
those.
quick and shell, man. Sit
Yeah.
there and Valade in
Uh,
perils, and then Gilgamesh casts Quicken on Shell, and then Shell goes does her Eroder ability, which fucking hurts. But anyway, yeah,
but
just
but
an
yeah,
interesting idea.
I can I kind of like it, and similar to the way that like I know I'm not alone in thinking that like looking forward to like your like I really like that you can still stream. Like I can't stream anymore, or I've retired for now at least for the foreseeable future. But I really like the idea that you had about running streams with these kind of variety matches or whatever friendly matches, where like oh god, if only we had the opportunity to do like the old RPG games where like you could have like the DM like creator or whatever and mess around with maps and shit and like make
Mhm.
stuff for people to play on mods or whatever. Really
If
wish that we could do that for a friendly
only.
match. Yeah.
Or at least
But
toggles. But we say this all the time. I feel like every like 3 casts or so we go on this rant.
yeah, like you don't have to do just class match streams. You could do like actual like friendly match things where just run with like weird ass shit and just have fun with it, you
I
know?
do want to, yeah.
I still I still remember like one of the last friendly matches I did was against JB. JB79 for those of you guys who don't know him, Jay Benson. I was streaming and I was like, all right guys, let's do some friendly matches. And I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna throw 3 spell blades together. It was like Kadia. It was all like lower rarity, like you couldn't bring URs.
Right, right.
So it was a bunch of like lower rarity like spell blades like Kadia. And then Jay Benson runs this like wicked like Earth evasion team and just destroys me. I was like, hey, that was fun, because like again, like I cannot stress enough that it's not always about the winning or losing. It's about learning from the experience and having fun playing the game.
Yeah.
So long ramble, but I love hearing ideas like you have.
Appreciate it. Yeah. I that's it for me. Do you have any closing thoughts without trying to predict the class match we don't know is gonna happen?
Oh God, get out of my head. That's exactly. I was like, I was about to say, like, I apologize. I would love to tease the next one. I
I
have
also
no
just
idea what
had
we're
one,
expecting.
so it's like
Did we? Has it been 1 week or 2 weeks?
but
Has
it's
it
been
been a
1 week.
year?
It's been 1 week.
Like the whole pandemic, man, has just made things fucky wucky.
Fuck
Um,
you. Fuck you. Excellent.
yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, that's enough for me. Thank you guys for tuning in. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, hope you enjoyed. I definitely like I said, I get excited about things sometimes. I try not to talk too much about the same topic, but my God, is Rafale exciting to me. I hope other people are also enjoying her if you have done the selection quests. They were not bad until the last one was fun to manual. There were many moments of, oh, okay, it's nice, it's over. Nope. Oh, it's over. Nope.
Yeah.
Oh, it's over. Nope. And then I got blessed. So there's a final spawn that's a problem because it went right in the middle of all 5 of my units. 3 of them had 100 HP tops. You can't heal during the mission, so you're just sitting there like hating life.
Oh, yeah.
Spawns in the middle of my units, gets to his turn, does nothing and passes. Killed him in the next turn cycle and got my Rafale finished. I was so distraught when it spawned. I was like, oh, I'm dead. I looked at the CT thing. I'm like, I can't get my cast off before it kills me. I'm gonna lose a unit. I can't full life because I'll heal too much, and then I
Yep.
won't get all the mission clears, and I'm screwed. Past turn, I was like, all right, sick. Thank you. Pew, pew, pew,
Goal!
pew.
Field
It's just-
goal.
but anyway,
Oh yeah. Get in your fucking selection quests. Get to level 10 and farm that shit with just like 10 skips. You're gonna like
oh, you
max
can
out your
skip them.
prisms. Yeah,
Yes.
just gonna get to
Alright.
like even 9. Just like do all the missions so you can skip them. Today is the 30th. Tomorrow's the 31st. I don't know if we're gonna get out in time, but even if you don't do it this month, um, don't forget to do your monthly selection quest for those prisms because like we're still running short. So don't forget. I cannot stress that enough. I probably could, but yeah.
Yeah,
You
hope you enjoyed. I've been Zach Bro,
I've been down a boon.
and we'll see you next time.